Welcome to What the Biz, where we talk about building successful businesses, balancing life, and all the WTB in between. With your hosts,
I'm Bridget Vector.
And I'm Dan Prochko. Hey, what's going on? It's another week. We're back, and I'm excited because I'm going to be diving deep into a marketing topic I'm passionate about. I just gave a talk about this. We previewed it last week about impact of AI and privacy and what it's doing to our businesses and traffic and how we're getting stolen from. It's horrible. Oh my God, the thievery is huge. And I'm gonna share with you how you're gonna overcome it. Okay, but I'm as always shared with my wonderful co-host Bridget Vector. How are you?
Hello. I am so excited for this topic today. I've obviously had a little bit of a preview because you did do a talk on this, but it is so good, so valuable. But yeah, I am fresh back from volleyball tournament. I mentioned it on another episode. My daughter's team took first place at state.
Nice.
So they came home with some hardware. The JV team took first and the varsity team. So they had like a three-team first place sweep at state championship.
That's a clean sweep. That's awesome. They got to be really excited. Oh, man.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. High energy for sure. What a way to close the year. So
I got to ask, did you end up taking earplugs?
I did. I absolutely did. Game changer. Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. I mean, you'll be shocked. They had me keeping the books, right, for the score keeping for some of the games. And when you're in between the courts of like refs blowing whistles, it's so loud. And then all the girls.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
Earplugs are a must at volleyball tournaments, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good. That's great. That's real great. I am just coming off of a really fun Halloween weekend of improv. I thought I was going to have a little relaxing October from improv, to be honest, and nope. But it's been a lot of fun. Had a Halloween show on Halloween, and then my vote debate show. Just so much fun. I like making fun of politics because even though it's serious, we can still make fun of it. We just have to. We got to laugh about some things sometimes. So that was a lot of fun. It was really good. So yeah, doing all that. But let's jump in and let's talk about this because my talk took like 45 minutes and I don't want to take that long. So I'm like, let's get started so that I don't go too long. So here we go. Okay. So I don't know if you knew this, Bridget, but SEO is dead. Okay. It's no longer a thing. And this isn't really hypothetical. I'm going to come at this real strong, by the way. I just want you to know, okay? In SEO, for those who aren't aware, it's search engine optimization. It's what we do to try and get that first rank in Google, okay? And I'm saying it's dead because of what I'm seeing happening. But before I get into that, really just want to ask a question. Like, what would you do to your what would happen if your business lost like 80% of its website traffic overnight, okay? Just like, it doesn't matter if you're getting 100 visits, 1,000 visits, 10,000 visits. If like it just dwindled down to like a trickle of what it was before, what would happen?
This question actually, so when you say SEO is dead, right? That alone sends a shiver. The question sends a second because when you say lost traffic, I see numbers, right? I see a direct hit to bottom line, cash flow, all of the things. And you can't really budget for this, right? So business owners have spent years building visibility. I mean, It is like, it's shoved to us of like, okay, here's all the ways that you get ranked number one on Google. Like, here's how you're at the top of the search page. And all of a sudden, all of that we've ever heard or learned or utilized is just like wiped away, right? Like we're losing the rug. It's just like, oh, we're flying now. What are we doing? And so totally, it's scary. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, our business is like, how many businesses have invested how much money in trying to get that first rank on Google, or to win those snippets, that are going on. And now that AI is here, it's literally disappearing. I mean, there are clear reports of businesses that have lost that much, primarily in publishing. Okay, so you're talking in media, or if you're talking in like encyclopedic, etc., AI has, summarized all that content to where people don't have to visit those pages anymore. So luckily, like local search hasn't been impacted yet, but this is happening for one of two reasons. It's happening, like I just said, AI summarizing everything, one. And two, it's happening because of privacy laws. Because, what businesses have done is if we don't get enough traffic, what we're going to do is we're going to pay for that traffic. We're going to run ads to get people to find us. And I know that's something we do as a marketing agency. Look, it's really difficult to rank for marketing terms. It doesn't matter if it's local or not. It's just really impossible. So we spend, we have a marketing budget where we spend on ads and we generate quite a few leads. But what's happening is that while we're losing organic traffic to AI summaries, we are now seeing that advertising isn't working as effectively because of privacy laws, because of all the new things happening on that front. And so, we end up seeing like this world where it's like, great, my two choices, are disappearing. What's left? Social media. And that's disappeared a long time ago. Like organic traffic through social has not been a thing in so long. So like even that's not a piece in play. So there's actually a term for this. I don't remember who coined it. I don't remember where. I'm pretty sure is like one of those tech newspapers or whatever. It's called the Great Decoupling. Basically, it just means that just because you're getting seen more doesn't mean you're going to get more clicks. And that's so weird because when you do a lot of Google searches and you rank one for a lot of searches, the thought was, I'm going to get those clicks and I'm going to get people to my website. And now, because of AI overviews and less effective ads, we may be getting impressions, as it were, or Google may be reporting to us that our website is being served as part of that overview. But the truth is, not a lot of people click those overviews. Have you seen a lot of those overviews in your searches, Bridget?
I have. Like, it's amazing how that is a lot of what's coming up at this point is that AI summary. I was being very like standoffish on those, but then like I've been checking to see how accurate it is. It's getting more and more accurate by the day.
Yeah.
To where like,
day, right.
Okay, it is giving me the right info. That's great.
Yeah.
No more scrolling.
No, I know. It's crazy. I'm one of the weirdos where I will click on the links, they give you that little like chain link thing next to the thing. And I will go through and I'll go look at those articles just to see, did they get the context right, et cetera. And they're getting really good. And what that's causing is that more and more people are just stopping their search after reading one of those summaries. In fact, research is showing that, almost over a quarter of searches, 26% of all searches just stop when there's an overview. So it used to be like 15% would stop. Okay. So there was still like 85%, but like it's almost double of people are now just stopping their search because that's gotten so accurate. The other impact that's had is if you're the first link in those, if you're the first link on the page, the first organic link, you used to get clicked about 7% of the time. Okay. And now that's dropped to 2.5%. Like basically it's 3 times less, 3 times fewer clicks are happening because of those AI overviews. So it's like, I love the convenience of those AI overviews. Okay. And I think they have a place and it's wonderful. And we can talk more about, and we'll get into that a little bit about like how you work with those and what that means for everything. But it's just insane, like that impact that it has on local businesses.
Those numbers are mind-blowing, and I really think it's going to just get worse, to be honest. And I think about everything in financial world, obviously, because that's where my brain goes. But like, we've been historically told or like encouraged to pour time and money into like assets, which are content, right? So like have your blogs, because that can get you some traffic, and do things in SEO format, and make sure you update your Google profile so you continue to become or be like top of mind with Google, blah, 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 blah. So now we've had all of these capital, like all these investments that are no longer paying off. You're not getting the clicks, so you're not getting the people finding you organically. And where is this all going to impact your bottom line, right? Like you're not going to get that organic traffic. you're not going to get the sales from that organic traffic. And so now
Right.
everybody's going to have to pivot of, okay, where are we going to get people from now? Because this is no
Right.
longer the
Yeah.
same platform.
Yeah. So look, I think that too. I think a lot of that too. And that content is still very valuable. And we're going to talk. Actually, I'll share a little bit now about how that content works now. So yeah, any content you create that you've invested time and money into, AI is like indexing that, it's learning about it, and then it's going to use that to create new overviews. So what does that mean? That means like if there's anything that can be described, defined, or analyzed, etc., we're going to get fewer clicks for it. And that's actually kind of okay. Because if the only reason a business is creating content is to rank on SEO, I think, and have always thought, that's the wrong reason to make content anyway. If you're making content, you're making that content to build trust with your current list, your customer list, your prospect list. You're using that content to show your expertise over time. You're linking back to it in future emails. You're reusing content, repurposing it, etc. So that content, I think, is still very valuable because it's what keeps your audience around, and or it's what helps you nurture your current customers, etc. I mean, everything is cyclical, you know. So let's say, you know, like for us, we do a lot of website work. We write some blog posts about what makes a great website, etc. You know what? Somebody's website is going to be in the cycle of needing to be redone or fixed. We write evergreen content that's always true. Let's go back and reshare that article. That's going to speak to them, etc. So that investment is still very valuable. It's not going to be valuable for the SEO side. Okay. And we'll talk more about how to use that, you know, and everything down the line. So I love that you brought that up because that's super important. The thing, and I mentioned this before, was, well, what if we just advertise? Okay. Privacy laws are impacting that, okay? And they're impacting that in the way of third-party cookies. So whenever you advertise on Facebook, you can select things like, I want to target people who are in the market for buying a car or in the market for a phone, or maybe they're a certain age range or make a certain amount of money, or they love these TV shows, okay? All of that is collected from a person's activity online. Privacy laws stop that data collection. They prevent browsers and platforms from sharing and selling that data with each other. So what does that do to advertising? It actually causes it to work less effectively because that category of people who love Fixer Upper, you know, Chip and Joanna, okay, great fun show. It's less accurate. There's either fewer people in that audience, or a platform is putting more people in that audience that they think are part of it that really aren't. So if we're going to start using these signals for targeting, they're just not going to target the right people. Okay. So that doesn't mean that ads shouldn't be part of our system, and we'll get to that. It still needs to be part of our system, but it's they're not working as effectively. The other piece that's happening is that these laws actually have a lot of penalties for business owners and businesses themselves. So if we don't adhere to these privacy laws, I mean, some of the most draconian laws have penalties of like $7,500 per violation. So just think about if you sent out an email to 1,000 people, and that list like didn't buy in, or something about it was off and you weren't compliant, that's 1,000 infractions, and each one gets multiplied by 7,500. You just racked up a $7.5 million bill. Like that's what happens with these laws. And even furthermore, it's not about where your business is. So like we're in Michigan, we don't have a really strong digital privacy law. It's on the way in Michigan, but you actually need to adhere to the state where the customer is. So if your customer's in Minnesota, that's where this law is from, the 7,500, and you've put them on your list, or you've done something where you haven't, you know, adhered to marketing, advertising law, etc., you get hit with that $7,500 fine because they're located in Minnesota, or are they in California or in Tennessee, etc. So it can get scary pretty quick.
Yeah, so those numbers add up very quickly for sure. And it just seems like the marketing landscape is just getting more and more complicated, right? So not only do you have all these SEO AI changes, but you have all these privacy law changes and coming right along with it. And it's like, okay, what are we doing? Like, what do we do? How do we get out of this? Like,
Yeah.
what's our next steps as business owners? Because it's scary.
Yeah. And somebody might be asking, well, how do I keep up with like the law of every state across this country? Actually there are some pretty, like if we're going to, I'm going to share this method of like how we're going to combat all of this. And if you adhere to this, you're going to be in alignment with all of these laws, because all of these laws are about permission, and compliance of permission. And so long as we're constantly getting permission for everything, we are going to be totally fine as it relates to all of these laws. I kind of want to jump into that piece, the thing that is what will help combat all of this. Okay. So look, I'm going to summarize real quick. We've got this problem of AI taking away our traffic, advertising not working as well. So what's left, okay, for us to do? Okay. I have always believed, and it's something we've talked a lot about even on this podcast, is you have to have your own list. You have to have your own database, advertising, sure, maybe in its heyday, we were getting conversions for $30, $10, $5. Over time, that's going to just skyrocket to hundreds. That's going to skyrocket, maybe even thousands, to get a conversion from ads, etc. So to combat that is we need to cost effectively move people from all these platforms where we're doing this marketing and spending all this time and effort and getting them into our list.
Oh, the email list.
Yep. And it's not just email, it's also SMS. I mean, it's just that permission to communicate. Whatever that way is, you get them in a list with their contact information where they have given you permission to have a relationship. That's really all it is,
Well, and I think this becomes even more important because, you've heard the horror stories of, well, look at when everybody thought TikTok was going away, right? So people built these massive audiences on that one platform. That's a rented area, right? So like they don't own those connections unless they are on a list. And I'm sure you're going to talk about it a little bit, but like, yes, there's rules around getting them on said list, but like owning your list will forever be like the answer. Like it doesn't matter what's changing, you need to have your own list. Yeah, no, it's the holy grail. You have to have, I mean, yes, the data goes into your CRM or it goes into whatever that relationship manager is. And it really gives you three things, okay? By building your list and having this permission, gives you three things. One, compliance, okay? So because you have permission, you have a clear audit trail of that consent because they filled out a form or they texted in to say, yes, subscribe me. You have proof of this relationship. So that helps you with a lot of these privacy laws. The second thing it helps you with is personalization. So as people engage with your website or fill out forms or download other ebooks, you can ask different questions along the way and get information about that person, okay? And their pains, their needs, etc. So that allows you to personalize communication. So no longer are you sending the same email to 5,000 people. You can actually cut those 5,000 people up into, say, 5 1,000 person segments where each of those 1,000 people have a different unique feature about them. They have a different pain than the other 4,000, and so they're getting a different message, okay? I mean, and the truth is, like 80% of consumers are more likely to purchase from a company that offers personalization. So, I mean, it's just huge, to do this. And the third thing is economic resilience, because social media has changed, search has changed, advertising has changed. You're just going to have to spend a whole ton out there. So instead, if we communicate with our list and we build our own list, we no longer have to compete on all of these platforms. And so, I mean, I think we all know that retaining a client or a customer is, 5 times less expensive than trying to earn a new one. So, having this relationship and keeping communications up is just really good business practice. So I love that you mentioned the personalization. And this is just me speaking from what we've been doing recently inside of our CRM. The ability when where certain people on your list are visiting most frequently. Like maybe they're going to a price page of yours, or maybe they're going to some other offer inside your page. You can literally set up where you are tagging them. Maybe you get a notification that they're going to that place, and you can have custom emails because of those clicks. Like the ability to do that when you have somebody on a list is like that piece alone is invaluable, right? And you can't get to that same level, in my opinion, when you don't own them on your list,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just a
Yeah.
completely different experience for that person, even. And that's what's gonna win, in my opinion, in the end game.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole conversation around renting versus owning. You know, all the money you spend on building your followers on social, on spending on SEO to get more rank and search, everything you spend on ads to be seen, etc. You're renting space. The moment you stop investing, all of that disappears. Whereas if you spend to earn a relationship where you can communicate directly, you've now gained an asset. You're no longer renting. You own that relationship until they decide they don't want it anymore, or you decide you don't want them anymore. You own that relationship now. It becomes an asset. So assets are always more valuable. They appreciate over time. The longer you have someone on your list, the more likely they are to convert. Or if they're already a customer, you can nurture them into a deeper relationship and spend more. So it just gets more and more valuable. But it's a fundamental mindset shift. You know, instead of, you know, just asking, you know, and I want to take it a step deeper. Instead of just asking, how do we get their email? We really need to be talking about how can we provide a valuable product that requires an email to function. Okay. And what do I mean by that? So it's like, instead of just saying, can we just put up a form that gets them to subscribe, or can we just give a discount? Like those aren't really deep relationship building mechanisms. They can totally work. We actually have a client. They've been doing a 20% on your first purchase for emails, and it's given them a 42x return. Building that list and continuing that nurturing just from that discount has given them a 42x return. Like that's huge. Okay. So I'm not discounting that, but there's more going on with their list than just giving a discount. They're nurturing and building relationship and adding more value. For other businesses, consulting or home services, et cetera, just giving a discount doesn't build long-term trust or that expertise, or it doesn't earn you the big project. You know, sure, I'll call a plumber because I've got an issue. But if I want to repipe my house, you better believe I'm still doing a ton of research as to who's the one to use. I'm not just going back to that plumber that snaked my toilet. Like that's not the same type of service I need. So what is that piece that we can give that's compelling, that deserves that exchange of information and for starting a new relationship?
I love that you say that, because I think everybody's just burned out of the typical, like, here's our random like resource, because guess what? Everybody can AI get these things now. So like you really have to showcase your expertise and give something of value for people to give you that email in exchange.
Yes.
And if they're giving you their email at this point in the world that we're in, they want to be part of your world. So to me, you're kind of getting that warmer audience, because there's so many people just like with these random flashy, like, download me, you know, like give me your email.
Yeah.
So you're getting a deeper engagement in one hand, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, depending on the industry, some of those things still work. Okay. If you're a cleaning company, giving someone the cleaning checklist of like, hey, here's the checklist we use when we clean. You can use this yourself. That is valuable. Will that create
It's their checklist, not like a generic.
Right. Correct. It's not a generic checklist. Here's our checklist. I agree. Yes, 100%. Exactly. How-to guides are still great, you know, because if you can walk someone to do it themselves, you're proving your expertise. And I know everybody is like, but if I tell them how to do it, then they're not going to hire me. Of course they are. Who the hell wants to do anything themselves? Okay. And like I just said, the repiping the house, if I downloaded a how-to repipe the house, cool. I'm just a geek. I want to learn about it. Does this company have like the expertise? And that how-to guide is laid out in a way that's basically, here's the process they're going to follow to repipe my house. Do you know how much trust that builds? Like if they gave me that how-to of how to repipe my house, are you kidding me? The moment I read that thing, I'm done repiping. The moment I download it, because it's going to be like 900 pages and I'm out. The moment the first chapter is pull your own permits. Nope, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not playing this game anymore.
Or don't pipe to the wrong place. I'm out.
Right.
We're gonna let the expert do that.
Yeah. Don't pipe in what should be piping out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still a lot that you can do in this that's valuable. And I think, you hit the nail on the head here is like, the nail on the head is that it has to be proprietary or it has to be unique to your business. It should be yours. And it's okay to give it away. Okay. Like, it's really hard for other people to just start businesses and copy you. That's actually very difficult, believe it or not. And the other thing is like most people don't want to do it themselves. So it's okay. The DIY community, although vocal and strong, is very small. Nobody actually wants to do it. Okay. So, I mean, you can also think a bit deeper of like interactive tools, like a quoting tool or a forecasting tool, or maybe a modeling tool of some kind that just gives basic, understanding of what things will look like, etc. All of that stuff is very valuable and is how a relationship can get started, because you're building so much trust there and giving so much value that is worth, that relationship starting. So this fortress that we're talking about, this asset, this database is kind of useless if you can't communicate from inside it. So you always want to make sure that this information, like addresses are great, like letters, wonderful, direct mail, it can still work. Make sure you get an email. Make sure at some point down the line you get SMS. Okay. And if everybody's like, oh my God, email is so old, it doesn't work. It has a 36x return.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Our clients, we found the average is somewhere between $40 and $50 return for all their email campaigns. It's the workhorse of communication. Like everybody has one. Like, come on. So there's that. And SMS is great for instant communication because 98% of people will open SMS. They've got a 98% open rate. That's insane.
Yeah.
98% of all texts are read. That's crazy. And they've got a response rate of like 45%. So like those are really the two methods you're going to want to be using here. Okay. So
I will mention though, I hate when SMS, there is a bug. That's fine. So this is totally just
You need chopsticks. You need chopsticks. Yeah. You need like from Karate Kid, catch that fly.
I hate when I get a text message where I'm like, oh, this was totally not text message worthy. So my one note here is to make sure you're using the right tool in the right circumstance. And Dan, you can correct me here if you need to, but in my opinion, I see email being for like nurturing and that detailed storytelling, building that relationship still. And an SMS message is for something that's either urgent, maybe it's an alert, or having a two-way conversation that is like a more immediate action thing.
100%.
Like a reminder, right? If they scheduled a meeting with you, a text reminder, awesome. When our platform, like we had some issues during the last web outage, right? With some of the banking and other things. To me, that would be like an urgent, I'd probably drop an email and maybe a text message. Like if it's going to impact payroll or something like that. In your world, I know that you saw recently some spam emails going out, that wanted your clients to click on something. To me, those are like important things, but don't like misuse each one of these.
100%.
Use it for its real purpose. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, look, with email, you just get so much more room too. So you can be more in depth. That lends itself to nurturing. Text messages are short. They're very interruptive. I mean, is this a text message from my wife, from my kid? Is this, from a parents, etc.? So yeah, SMS should be used sparingly and when it makes sense. Plus the laws are a bit more stringent for SMS. You have to like literally register your business and phone number to use it for marketing. And so all of that is tracked very, very diligently, I guess, is one way to put it. So you can run afoul pretty quickly. But you mentioned something earlier around when we were talking about the segmentation of being able to email certain people with the right messages. And with that comes automation, I think. It's one of the easiest ways to segment is based on activity, like you were saying, knowing who goes to a certain page or who takes a certain action. Your first-party data system, or this whole, database, of people that you're building is really activated through that communication. And I think automation is the cheapest and easiest way. I say cheapest literally because it's very inexpensive to do, but it's so powerful because you can tie a communication to someone's actual action. Were they reading a blog post? Did they just download this resource? Did they use a tool of ours? Let's follow up on that behavior immediately and in the correct way. Some things are text, some things are email. Email for more depth, SMS for that urgency, et cetera, and communication. And when pairing them together in that way, oh my God, it's so powerful to put those two together. So really good point there. Yeah.
And you're making it unique to them because that's a journey they were on, and they're like, oh yeah, I did do that. So it's unique to their experience. Like choose your own adventure.
That's exactly it. I mean, think about having so many automations and triggers, et cetera. And it may sound a bit complicated, but you build them one at a time. You don't build them all at once. You figure what they are one at a time. What's the next one we're working on? And over time, you get all these triggers and automations. And in the end, it's exactly like you said. Someone can come in from 100 different places. They came in from an ad on Facebook, or did they come in from watching a YouTube video of yours, or did a friend share something? And it could be all different places. They come in, and that triggers certain communication from you that keeps them on this journey. And in those automations are more triggers that trigger other journeys along the way. And that just deepens their relationship with you, that then leads to a conversion, more money, et cetera. Now, the key thing I think people are wondering is like, okay, great. You said I need this list. And we talked about search not working well and ads not working great. And social media hasn't been all that wonderful. How do I even build this list? So this is really easy. Okay. This is really short. Okay. It's not a big part of this episode because we could have a whole episode about this. Your content across those channels should go toward building your list. Okay. You need to create content that is engaging, that makes people want to click to come to your site and then use those tools and put in their information. That's actually a big way that we use advertising. We use advertising to build our list. We don't actually use advertising to try and find a client. People who don't know us, don't trust us enough, they don't like us enough, they definitely don't know us at all to start using our services. So instead, we need to build trust. So we create advertising campaigns for our consultancy that goes to find people in our target audience on a topic that is interesting to them because it's a pain point they have. And we try to solve it with a very high value resource or tool, et cetera. And when they download it or use it, they have to provide contact information. And then we follow up with them on the usage of that piece, the topic that they were exploring. And then we take them deeper in that relationship, through automation. All this gets triggered. And then we take them deeper into other topics related to their business growth, et cetera. And we form that relationship. And that's how we do it. And honestly, we're generating 4 to 5 relationships a day. That's what I'm going to start calling it from now on. And honestly, we're generating them for like 80 cents a relationship. Like, this is really inexpensive. So even though ads don't work so great anymore, you can still find amazing results.
Well, and I love when you are bringing them into your world and you either earn the email or their SMS information, right? You're moving those individuals from the high cost, high competition public market, right? Like that's everybody's competing out there.
That's search, that's social, that's ads. Everyone's out there. Yeah.
Everybody to your own little world, right? Like you get the control over that. It's now a private relationship where you can bring your best to anybody on that list and you're not competing with all of the other noise. You might be competing with other emails, but you're in their own private little world now, and they're in your private little world. That's huge.
I just think of it of like you look a kid in their little fort and just seeing like other kids down below fighting each other, and you're just up there like, nah, I'm cool, I'm good. I got a couple of my friends up here, we're good to go. Yeah, you guys down there, yeah, fight it out, whatever, doesn't matter to me. Yeah, that's how I look at it, And so instead of constantly spending on rent, start spending on an asset is really the end. Question I have for y'all: which of your marketing dollars are you currently spending on rent, and how can you turn that into a capital investment this week? How can you change what you're doing so that you're building your asset? Okay, so think about the social media you do, the ads you're currently running. Can I, instead of doing social media for likes and follows, can I do something in social media that helps generate this pull off of social onto my list? Just a little bit. Okay. So that's my big question for everybody this week.
It's a good one. I like it.
Cool. I think that's the whole topic. Yeah. So that was my talk. It was all about that. And, I think it's super intriguing because I just seeing what AI is doing is it's crushing traffic. And so all of this stuff is getting impacted. So I think it's really important to build that list.
Well, and I think everybody's worried about AI. So I don't think we should be afraid. I think we just have to go with it and know what we're doing, what we're changing, how it's impacting, and just evolve along with it. And I think you can correct me. Are you sharing your presentation? Is there going to be a link?
It is going to be shared. Yes, I am sharing my presentation. Yeah, I am sharing the presentation. It is going to be out there. Hopefully it's up by the time this is out, and I will put it in the show notes. So check the show notes, the description, wherever you download this or wherever you listen, check it out. I should have the link in there so that you can see the full presentation, because that whole thing was a bit longer, had a bit more detail into it. And
very good info, though.
Good topic. Yeah, really cool.
Very good.
Cool. Oh man, we are now prepping for our 100th episode. Holy cow. This is 99. I can't believe we're already here. So we're doing something special for the next episode, okay, for our 100th. So make sure you come back, tune in when it drops. And we're going to have some fun looking back over 100 episodes. Maybe some surprises, some announcements, etc. So that's pretty cool. What are you looking forward to? What's coming up? Yeah. What are you looking forward to?
We are going to a football game this weekend, so hoping for no rain. I know it's going to be a little chilly, but just looking forward to some fun family time.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's always good. I am prepping for a big improv festival. I know it's like everything I do just seems to be improv that I talk about that I'm doing on the side.
Good.
So there's that. Hobby. And what's the other thing? Oh, we just completed we're in the final stages of completing a brand new automation track and tool for our clients around hiring. And so that is just launching for the first client who kind of commissioned or asked for it, et cetera. Really cool thing. You know what? I think I'll share more about that next week because that should be up and running and it's really, really cool. So just a little teaser there for you too. Yeah. So that's really cool. All right. With that, thank you for joining in. Thanks for listening. We love that you are and would love to hear from you. And the best way to do that is to leave us a review. Just tell us how we're doing. 5-star would be awesome wherever it is you're at. And just write a little note of like, oh man, I really like that insight in that episode. Helps others understand what's so great about our podcast. If you have an idea for a future topic, you can always go to whatthebiz.com, throw those in. I know we've done some customer questions in the past, or not customer questions, listener questions, et cetera, in there. And so we'd love to hear from you, even if it's just a question. We'll try and make it part of the show as best we can. With that, we're going to see you on the 100th, okay? Because we're gearing up for it. We're prepping. We're excited for it. It's really exciting. We'll see you in the next one.